Bill 266 and commenting on Communication 5.
Very good, thank you. Ms. Harden, begin when you would like. Can you see the lights on your side?
Lights.
What lights?
I'm not sure what lights.
That indicate your time, your timing?
No, we can't.
Okay, you have 3 minutes, and we'll let you know when 30 seconds is, so you have time to summarize, and then 3 minutes I'll cut you off if you're continuing. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to new council members and returning council members. First, with my Sierra Club hat on, opposing Bill 266 regarding agricultural tourism. I'm really glad to see this back at Planning Committee so it can get looked at some more. I know people have been working on it for a long time, and I believe a copy of my testimony was faxed to you. I hope you have a chance to take a look at it. So I'll kind of just summarize what's on there, points I've kind of been reiterating for a while. High points. Will off-site and off-island interests be allowed to operate the tourism side of agritourism operations? Will large numbers of visitors in cars overrun rural neighborhoods with no warning to neighbors and no way to stop them? Will emergency responders be hampered by traffic or bad roads? How many ag tourism operations will be allowed in one neighborhood? Will theft and trespassing increase at neighbors' places? Will there be noise causing conflict with neighbors? For roads owned by community associations or by several people, who has liability and who deals with the extra wear and tear on the roads? And will the tourism make land prices go up so we have higher prices for ag land and then higher prices for locally produced food? I think we should allow only one annual event, so someone cannot have their annual Halloween party, then their annual Christmas party, then their annual Easter party. I think when applications come in, they should be complete, so someone can't have a half-done application and then the time runs out and they get in easy. There should be signs so people can easily find these places and they don't cruise all over the neighborhood asking neighbors where it is. Should be plans to control dust. We need adequate restrooms and sewer service. And ag tourism should be compatible with the character of the neighborhood. There should be a minimum property size.
30 seconds.
The limits on the number of visitors and vehicles should be per day, not per week or year, so you can't have everybody showing up on the same day. And especially if a proposal is not reviewed in 30 days, there needs to be provision for what happens. We don't want automatic approval, and there should be fees to fund enforcement. So please reconsider it. Okay, and
Thank you, Ms. Harden.
I have one more item.
And that's in a different communication, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm taking off my Sierra Club hat, just speaking for myself. Commenting on Communication 5, a zoning change for Hu Honua. Last year, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, reviewed Hu Honua's air permit from DOH, Department of Health, and stopped just short of suggesting the data were fraudulent, says the Tribune Herald. EPA said it had never seen a stoker boiler the size of Hu Honua's that qualified as a minor source, not major, of hazardous air pollutants. EPA also questioned if, under the permit, DOH would be able to enforce pollutant standards. EPA recommended another public comment period. DOH refused. EPA also recommended new permit conditions, but some were left out of the final permit. Geochemistry professor Jean-Pierre Michaud also raised concerns. Dioxins could be produced when wood is burned from chloride in sea salt in the wood. Hu Honua says it will not use bark or leaves, which are more likely to have salt, and will test wood for chlorine before accepting it. But will the permit that I just discussed allow adequate monitoring for dioxins? Residents raise more concerns. Wood with high moisture could cause incomplete combustion and higher emissions than expected. Ultrafine particulate emissions that are legally allowed can still cause health problems. Wind data is not from the Hu Honua site, but from the airport, which has totally different wind patterns. There's going to be 21 million gallons a day of wastewater. Some of that could impact marine life. The boiler is a 40-year-old refabricated boiler. Wonder how it's going to hold up. There would be around-the-clock noise from machinery, and there would be 5 to 6 logging trucks every hour that would slow traffic and wear out roads. There are homes within 300 feet of Hu Honua. Residents have been struggling for several years to have their concerns addressed. They sued the EPA 3 months ago over the air permit. They also commented on the special management area permit, filed for contested case, and last month said they're appealing a decision on contested case. Helco says Hu Honua will provide firm renewable energy, but that's unlikely if oil prices keep rising, increasing the cost of fertilizing, cultivating, harvesting, and trucking. Should we use all this land for fuel or for food? We don't have a very long supply of food, needs to start growing our own. Solar, wind, hydro, ocean waves, ocean thermal energy conversion, cooking oil, biodiesel. There are many alternatives.
Thank you, Ms. Harden. Thank you. We're going to move to Pahoa. We'll do one testifier over there, and then we'll do a testifier here in Kona. I know you have two, but we'll do one for now. Thank you.
Okay, understood. Thank you. First, we have Mr. Jon Olsen, representing the Pahoa Regional Town Center Committee, speaking on Resolution 313-12 in support.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon.
Members of the committee. I am here today to testify in support of our resolution from our working group, and I plan to remain in the possibility that during the discussion period I can lend some further light to what we've been doing and how we've gotten to where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have one testifier here. We're calling up Keiko Bonk. Oh. It was on top. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Please. Ms. Bonk, good afternoon. I have 3 minutes to begin. Could you turn the microphone on?
That on? Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay. State your name.
My name is Keiko Bonk, and I'm speaking on Communication 6, Bill 1 and 2. I'm representing Fumie Bonk, who's the applicant for these two bills here. You probably got a whole backlog of history on the reason for this rezoning. This is a rezoning from a 1 acre to a half acre ag rezoning for residential. The whole Pakanihir Road is residential half acres basically, except for my mother and father's lot. My brother Sazen lives across the street, and he has a half acre lot, and everybody, the Nobrigas and everybody has half acre lots. They bought these lots in the 70s and 60s, and they were already half acre, and they've been zoned into the, the whole area is under the master plan, for Hawaii to be residential, pretty much units and with the rest of the residential neighborhood near the Hawaiian Homes Community Center. And then what's going on here is my brother Sazen Bonk, who's actually a farmer, has been actually expanding his farm. He can't farm there because he needs a lot more land. He leases 20 acres of land on the other side where a lot of the farmers, other side of the Pahoa highway, where the land's a little bit cheaper. But my mom wants to give him the front part of her lot where my brother Ken has been farming over the years. Ken lives in the house that my parents built. And he wants to use the Quonset hut for to store all his agricultural equipment and to do packing and seedlings, because he'd rather do that there. It's closer to home. He's sort of grown out of his own garage across the street on Kakanihi Road. And he uses things there anyway, but to make it, affordable for him, my mom decided, well, you could have this. He looked at the neighboring land that went up for sale, the Kerr's land. A farmer can't afford those kind of prices. They're house lots, basically. And so in this case, this 40-acre ag zoning is kind of out of date. It hasn't been 40 acres. It's been 1.5 acres for 45 years. So what we're doing here is actually going through a really long process to call it what it is. And that's basically the smallest that it'll go down to, a 1/2 acre residential ag. And he's planning to do seedlings and to do storage for his ag and pack. There's a nice size packing house there right now and storage unit that he's been putting some things in anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Bonk. And you were gonna build 1 and 2, or?
Yeah, and his farm's called Kozan Farms. He distributes to Armstrong. He's been farming since the 1970s. He, along with my younger brother, probably a few of the younger farmers, once upon a time, who went to Molokai to get state land, and they farmed on Molokai for quite a while, but he wanted to come back to the Big Island, and that's why he moved back. He had bought his land right there on Kakanihi Road in the 80s, but he built in the 90s, and then now his son, Noah Bonk, who's also a luthier, wants to set up and start helping him again and probably take it over. So it's not really gonna, it's just gonna be him coming across the street, and he already is there with his house across the street. Years ago, my younger brother thought he might ohana, and he got an approval from the county to do that right there on that land next to my parents' house. But he's living with my mother now in that larger house on the land, so he's separate from my brother Sazen. So that's what that's about. So if you go to the farmer's market in Waimea, my brother Sazen is one of the 2 farmers at the farmer's market. Truck farming, mostly local produce and a lot of Asian produce, and then he ships off to Armstrong on Oahu.
You have another 1 minute and 30 seconds if you'd like it.
Oh, he couldn't be here today. He's a farmer, so I'm speaking for him too. If you have any questions about his farm, or if you need to talk to him, he can talk to you by phone. But he couldn't take a day off to come down. And I think a lot of you know that I fought for a lot of ag on this island, especially ag lands that are really ag. We have a lot of land out there that is zone ag, but haven't been used in ag for years. I mean, it's kind of, I've been in situations where, for endangered species, for instance, they make this rationalization that we have all this ag land that, Hawaiian hawks can actually fly around in these ag lands. Well, what they're calling ag and what it actually is on a map is 2 different things. Here we have a situation where nobody has been in ag on that lot, on those lots going up Little Kakanihi Road, except my brothers. All of them, especially Hugo, the old larger estate on the top of the hill. That's a beautiful, $1 million house. Everything in the neighborhood's shifting to all these really expensive residential areas that only mainlanders can buy. And the few farmers we have left are being outpriced from the area. So there you go.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'm going to move now to Hilo.
Okay,
Will
Mr. Chair.
please bring the next testifier forward, Hilo.
Our next testifier is Tim Rees, speaking on Bill 266 Draft 5.
Aloha, Mr. Chairman, planning committee members. I speak in opposition to 266 Draft 5 because it's just not done yet. And I do take offense when I hear prior council members say you're not going to please everybody. This is a complex situation where you can drastically change the character of our island, our quiet places. The very reason why I bought my farm is because I wanted to farm peacefully. However, economic reality, as some of what you just heard very succinctly stated by prior testifier, is that we're being priced out, man. You know, and it's happening over here in Lava Zone 1 and 2. It's a remarkable thing. People that just completely ignore nature. I'll show you right now, just to try to grab your attention here, technical nitpicky detail that I like to find, and they pop out easy to me, so I must have some kind of bizarre personality. Let's look at the front page of Bill 266 Draft 5, Section 2, where your definition here, listen to this, and tell me what kind of sense this makes. Value-added agricultural product means the increased market value resulting from processing, transforming, packaging, or marketing. That's a really good definition of value-added, not a value-added agricultural product. That would more appropriately state value-added agricultural product means agricultural products with increased market value resulting from processing, transforming, packaging, or marketing. I brought that to one of the planning department people that testified before the prior council. They didn't want to bother to fix that up, I guess. And it's a minor thing. It doesn't bother me. Here's what does bother me. This bill was brought forward to help small farmers by helping them engage in an additional use that wasn't really allowed prior to this bill. It was allowed, but it wasn't sussed out and gone into detail. So what you have here in the end result is the prior council has squeezed out very small farmers like myself. I'll give you an example by going from minor to major. Your minor classification is not minor at all in impacts to the community. If every one of my neighbors, or let's just even say a half or a third of us, decided to run a minor operation like you're saying, it would be too much. The road can handle, everything can handle, but it would completely change the character of the properties. Their values would probably go up, and they would probably be out of agriculture shortly thereafter. What I want to see is, now that you've taken minor and major, maybe we need a new de minimis term, because nobody wants to go with medium in planning, I guess. What I would like to see is that no need for plan review on minor, or the very smallest, I'm going to call it de minimis for lack of a better term, which would be no more than 15 visitors per day, no more than 3 days a week. Now, you may not like my suggestion as a group, and it may just go absolutely nowhere, but the point is you're ending up with a bill that squeezes out the small farmers that we need to promote on this island and help every way we can. Otherwise, it all goes to the mainlanders, which I am one, and I bought my property because the family no longer wished to to operate it. They were elderly, the children didn't want to take over, so it was kind of more of a natural fit.
Thank you, Mr. Rees. Your time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Gonna move to Pahoa now. Please bring up next testifier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have Ms. Renee Siracusa, representing Malama Puna, speaking on Resolution 313-12 in support.
Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations for your new positions on the County Council. One of the keystones of the Puna Community Development Plan is the creation of town centers and village centers. And the plan outlines a process for this, which is community-driven. In Pahoa, we have had a committee of residents who have been working on the plan for the Pahoa village. And what's happening here is that they are faced with a bunch of applications for development that are ignoring what they are trying to put together in terms of the way the plans are shaping up so far. What they would really like is a little breathing space so that they could have a sort of a moratorium on development in Pahoa until the end of June, or until they complete their plan, whichever comes first. There's some precedence for this. Certainly, the Pahoa, the Puna Community Development Plan, asked the council when it was still in the formative stages to create a moratorium that would do that, prohibit any additional development until the plan could be approved by the council, and that was in August of 2008 that happened. The council did approve that moratorium, so we have that as a precedent. We are moving as quickly as we can to get the design guidelines and the entire village plan formalized in time for that date, if not sooner. Actually, having a plan in place would benefit people who want to develop in Pahoa, because they would know that they would end up doing something that they wouldn't have a whole bunch of people picketing in front of their bulldozers. So there are benefits. They would know what to buy, what to put in, what would meet with community needs and approval, and what wouldn't. So in a sense, it would be a win-win for everyone. And we hope that you will agree with that and grant this temporary moratorium. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now back to here in Kona, Janice Palma Glenn. Sorry if I messed any of that up.
That's okay, I didn't write it very well.
State your name for the record.
Yes, it's Janice Palma Glenn. Thanks.
Thank you.
Aloha and welcome to new council members. Bill 266 has a long history with which all members may not have had time to become familiar. I've testified many times, but was off island for the last hearing, and it was only this morning that I heard about Ms. Ford's communication containing a list of crucial public-generated amendments. A majority of testifiers have spoken to this bill's lack of safeguards, especially to those people and properties located near agritourism venues. Though one testifier said it's better to have something on the books than no law at all, I strongly disagree. It's this body's kuleana to create a fair and enforceable law that solves problems, not creates them. Ag tourism legislation is only worthy if it helps farmers address economic challenges while protecting natural resources and promoting peace within a community. Without serious amendment, Bill 266 will fall far short of that goal. In 3 minutes, I can't review my concerns, but many come from having neighbors who conducted illegal and intrusive garden tours. As benign as that may sound, they were a nightmare to even faraway neighbors. Buses parked on the shared substandard private driveway, noise and live music wafted more than a quarter mile away up the hill till 11 p.m., and narrow Walua Road was even more overburdened with traffic. Neighbors begged the host to stop, but no one, including police, planning, or other government officials, came to our rescue. It took expensive litigation for the tours to finally stop. How can farmers not interested in tourism and other residents rely upon protection from abuses, which will undoubtedly occur, without extremely protective legislation? And with funding for dire services being cut out of county budgets, how will an overburdened planning department fulfill the huge task of uniformly, adequately, and fairly overseeing complex ag tourism rules without funding? It's critical that funding be clearly allocated so the public can be assured that enforcement will remain a priority of this and future administrations. Because there's so much to consider and countless people who will be affected by this legislation, I ask that you again postpone consideration of this bill until each of you has had a chance to read the input that went into it, and also to give the public time to read what was omitted from today's agenda. I assure you that residents will thank you or curse you, depending upon how this bill pans out. Some of my major concerns include enforcement, as it's key to the success of this bill. Self-policing is a pipe dream and a government cop-out. Only frequent surprise visits and harsh penalties for infractions will ensure that visitor count and other rules are being followed. Daily, not weekly, visitor limits need to be set, and minor ag should be restricted to no more than 30 visitors per day. Even 200 visits per week is huge in otherwise quiet rural areas. This has been requested repeatedly, yet it's been continually omitted. There's also broad confusion over existing noise rules. When I've called to complain...
Thank you for your testimony. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign up just to say
We're going to move back to Hilo. I think we have one more testifier there.
Okay, Mr. Chair, our last testifier is Lonnie Wygard.
This is
and
ridiculous.
She's representing the Hawaii Ag Tourism Association.
Very good. May I begin?
Aloha, my name is Lonnie Wygard, and I'm the Executive Director for the statewide nonprofit Hawaii Agritourism Association. I'm here in favor of Bill 266 with exception to requiring plan approval for the minor agricultural tourism operations. The Ag Tourism Bill started way back almost 10 years ago and proved to be so restrictive and included plan approval at that time for all farms, which resulted in only one applicant within the 10-year period. After many discussions and meeting with the farmers and ranchers, the planning director developed Bill 266, creating a more workable structure for farmers and ranchers to operate within. Ag tourism is a value-add industry whereby the farmer adds his or her knowledge, expertise, and uniqueness to how they present their farm or ranch for the purpose of educating their guests and creating supplemental income. With these tough economic times, farmers and ranchers have been hit hard with crop production down due to drought and prices plummeting due to the economy. Ag tourism can help diversify a farmer's income stream. There are two concerns I have with this draft 5 Bill 266. Number one, requiring plan approval for minor agricultural tourism operations that bring in 15,000 or less a year in visitors. These operations, in reality, will be lucky if they even get 1,000 a year. Some of these small operations will just exist on having 2 to 6 people visit their farm a day. These operations don't have the resources or the wherewithal to go through the plan approval process. As proven in the last 10 years, only one application has been received. The initial idea of this bill was to provide farmers a structure they could strive within while minimizing public impact. Right now, draft 5 is too restrictive and will hinder versus help the farmers. This bill was supposed to help and encourage small farms to diversify and sustain themselves with additional income. I humbly ask to strike the plan approval requirement for minor ag tourism operations as was drafted in draft 1, 2, 3 of Bill 266. Requiring a maximum of 1,000 square feet to include the facility area used for ag tourism will also be difficult for farmers who wish to use an existing area on their farm.
Thank you, Ms. Wygard. Thank you. Time's up. Is there anybody else in any location that would like to testify?
Yes, we have
Please
one
let me know.
more testifier in Hilo. This is Kerri Marks.
Oh. Okay, we're going to pause that for 1 second just to give everybody else a chance. Anybody else in Pahoa?
No, sir. No more testifiers in Pahoa.
Okay, Waimea is still clear? Nobody?
No more testifiers here, Chair.
Okay, thank you. How about Ka'u? Ka'u? No. Okay. All right, let's go take it back to Hilo.
Hi, this is Ka'u. There's no
Thank you,
testifiers
Ka'u.
here.
Thank you. Okay, back to Hilo, and you may begin.
Aloha, good afternoon. I signed up, I think, for Hu Honua, which I oppose because it doesn't probably meet the sustainability guidelines that we discussed in an earlier committee meeting. And I also sat down in this chair to ask please of the chair to show some respect to the testifiers. I have seen you cut off rudely every single testifier so far this committee. One thing I do for the county of Hawaii is I try and convince people to come down here and testify. And if you scare them, they will not come. So please show some respect. None of us can see the light that you're talking about that times it off. Say, please summarize, say it nicely, give us 30 seconds, and then cut us off. Mahalo.
Very good. Anybody else like to testify here in Kona? Hilo? Ka'u? Anywhere else? Okay, great.
I'm fucking trembling still. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. So can we get the Deputy Clerk to read in the Communication 5?
Thank
Please.
you. Communication 5, non-significant zoning change, NZC 12-00001.5, applicant Hu Honua Bioenergy LLC, area 0.644 acre. From Planning Director Bobbie Leithead Todd, dated November 20th, 2012, stating that the applicant proposes to adjust the zoning boundaries to align the county zoning of agriculture A-20A and industrial MG-5A with the present state land use designated agricultural and urban areas. This zoning change request has been determined to comply with section 25-2-45 parentheses 2 Hawaii County Code, which can be approved administratively by the planning director.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to close file on Communication 5?
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilmember Onishi and a second from Councilwoman Poindexter. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Ford?
Thank you. Is there somebody here or in Hilo from the planning department? Because the maps that are included, I cannot tell where these boundary changes are occurring.
Is there anybody from, is Larry?
We had Larry Brown here. He stepped away for a moment. We're going to try to find him.
Okay. Ms. Eoff?
Yes, it does say that this is a non-significant zone change, meaning that it's under a certain percentage of the total acreage that's being proposed to change. And I'm just wondering if there's a reason aside from the trying to conform with the state zoning. Is that the only reason we're being asked to do this change, or is there a project or a plan to increase some type of use on that parcel?
The way I understand this is that it's not really supposed to be here. It's been put on our agenda, so we have to process it through. Like you say, this is a ministerial. It's very small, and actually moving forward, I'd like to see these not be brought forth to council. But since we're here, we'll see what Larry has to say.
Okay.
If he's going to be here in the next minute or two. And if not, I think we should just close this out because this really isn't our business. This is the planning department's business, the way I see it.
Or, Mr. Chair, maybe we can table this one and then move on to the next.
Okay, very good. Then do I need a motion to do that? Okay, Councilwoman Willie?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to table this and go on so that we can hear from Larry Brown from the planning department.
Okay. Any discussion on that? We have the first from Councilwoman Willie and a second from Councilwoman Ford. Any discussion? We just do a voice vote, yeah? All in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? Okay, that's been tabled. Our Deputy Clerk, can you please read in communication number 6? Bill 1, and can you read them? Can you read them both in at the same time, and then we can deal with them separately?
Yes, I will.
Very good, thank you.
Communication 6, Bill 1, amends the state land use boundaries maps for the County of Hawaii by changing the district classification from the agricultural to the rural district at Pu'ukapu Homesteads First, South Kohala, Hawaii. Applicant Fumie Bonk, area 1.0046 acres. And Bill 2 amends sections 25-8-11, Lala Milo Pu'ukapu Zone Map, Article 8, Chapter 25, Zoning Code of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition, by changing the district classification from agricultural 40 acres, A-40A, to residential and agricultural 0.5 acres, RA-.5, at Pu'ukapu Homesteads First, South Kohala, Hawaii, covered by tax map key 6-4-001:099. Applicant Fumie Bonk, area 1.0046 acres, from Mayor William P. Kenoi, dated November 20th, 2012, transmitting the above bills and enclosures with a favorable recommendation from the Windward Planning Commission. The applicant wishes to subdivide the property into 2 residential/agricultural lots and convey the new lot to her son.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion to close file on Communication 6 and recommend passage of Bill 1 on first reading? Okay, we have a first by Councilman Onishi and a second by Councilman Yoshimoto. Any discussion? Councilman Ford?
Thank you. Do we have anyone from the planning department here to discuss this bill?
Is there anyone from the planning department available to discuss this bill?
We have no one in Hilo.
I couldn't hear that.
No.
I
No.
think that'd be a no.
No,
Mr.
we
Chair?
have, oh, we have somebody here. Hold on just a moment. Oh, we have Bobbie Jean, the Director of Planning.
Oh. Very good. Could you please come forward? Good afternoon, Madam Director.
Sorry. I understand you have some questions about the communication regarding non-significant zone change? Or I'm on my own, right? Are you past that?
We do, but we tabled that one for now,
okay.
so we do, and we'll get back to that one right now. Councilwoman Ford has a question regarding Communication 6, Bill 1.
Okay.
Ms. Leithead Todd, this is the parcel is in North or South Kahala, because on the Planning Commission, the Windward Planning Commission, it actually says in the first paragraph North Kahala, but everything else is South Kahala. Is this just a typo?
That's a typo.
The discussion of North Kahala?
It's a typo. It's in Waimea.
So is that
That's South Kahala.
North or South Kahala?
My understanding is it's South Kahala. I don't have the files in front of me.
All right, that's fine. I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm reading this correctly.
Because
I do have additional...
we did look at the Waimea community plan that was incorporated in the South Kahala CDP when we reviewed this project.
Okay, thank you. I will save the rest of my questions.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Seeing none, can we do a roll call vote, Deputy Madam Clerk?
Ms. Eoff? Aye. Ms. Ford? Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Ms. Poindexter? Aye. Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Chair Yoshimoto?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Chair Kern.
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 9 ayes.
Thank you very much. Bill 1 moves forward to council with a positive recommendation. Now into Bill 2. May I have a motion to recommend passage of Bill 2 on first reading? Here we have a first by Councilman Onishi and a second by Councilman Yoshimoto. Is there any discussion? Councilman Ford.
Thank you. Ms. Leithead Todd, is the road lot that goes through this little subdivision a separate road lot, or is it divided between the different properties as a private road?
I'm not sure if our director is still there. Hilo, can we have Madam Director come back up?
I don't have that file with me. My recollection is that it's a road lot and it's private.
And although it's in the X zone, because the water goes outside of the lot, is there any runoff coming from the highway onto this parcel of land?
No, the parcel of land is topographically uphill from the highway.
All right, thank you. Just as a comment to the council members, this has fair share on it, and I personally consider fair share to be illegal. That will not stop me from voting on this thing.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do a roll call vote.
Ms. Eoff? Aye. Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Ms. Poindexter? Aye. Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Kern?
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 9 ayes.
Bill 2 moves forward to council with a positive recommendation. And now, do we have a Bill 3? No, yeah, on this one? No.
Another one.
Okay, now on to Bill 3. Madam Clerk?
Communication 8, Bill 3, amends Section 25-8-33, City of Hilo Zone Map, Article 8, Chapter 25, Zoning Code of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition, by changing the district classification from single-family residential 10,000 square feet RS-10 to limited industrial 20,000 square feet ML-20 at Waiakea, South Hilo, Hawaii, covered by tax map key 2-2-035:045, applicant Dean Jong Lin, area 21,050 square feet, from Mayor William P. Kenoi, dated November 26, 2012, transmitting the above bill and enclosures with a favorable recommendation from the Windward Planning Commission. The applicant wishes to establish an office and parking for a tour operation. The existing dwelling will be converted into an office, and parking for the minibuses, vans, and employees will be on site.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion to close file on Communication 8 and recommend passage of Bill 3 on first reading?
So moved. Mr. Chair?
So we have a first by Councilman Onishi and a second by Councilman Yoshimoto. Yes, I have something I'd like to say too before you get into it, maybe. Do I have a chance?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, I need to make a disclosure before you do that, though. Before we get into discussion.
Disclosure?
For me, yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I was previously on the Windward Planning Commission, which we saw this application, and so I did vote on it. I have been told that I do not need to recuse myself from Corporation Council. I think, though, for the sake of perception, I am going to recuse myself. I will continue to facilitate the meeting, but I will not be voting on this one, just to keep things as clean as they can be. Thank you very much. Mr. Councilman Onishi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just to let council members know, this is in my district, and if you look at the map on page 6, that's on the back, if you notice, a lot of the properties are like mixed commercial, and so in this area, which is the Waikea house lots, and this proposed applicant is where by the airport side, and so I just asking for my colleagues to support this and move it forward to council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Councilman Ford?
Is the planning director there?
Could we have the planning director come up?
Yes.
Thank you. Just two really quick questions for the record. Is there a county sewer that this lot will need to connect to, or is already connected?
I'm not exactly sure where the sewer line is. If the sewer line is there, they will be required to connect. But my recollection from one of the prior cases that we had in this area was that there wasn't a line right in that area.
All right, thank you. And this lot is going to be able to connect to Elehua Avenue directly, correct? They're not going to have to go some back doorway to another street.
No, they're
correct.
They're directly on Kanoilehua. If you look at the color photos that should be in the back of the application, you've got an aerial overview that shows the lot and its location right on Kanoilehua. And as a matter of fact, there is no other way for them to connect other than by directly onto Kanoilehua.
Okay, thank you. This property is located in the critical wastewater disposal area, and it's located a little bit over 300 feet from the sewer main. And they, hold on, environmental management is recommending connection to the county sewer as a condition of rezoning. That's their recommendation. However, the bill itself states that the method of sewage disposal shall meet with the Department of Health. Now, that could be a septic system, but usually when they're 300 feet or less, we require them to connect to the sewer system. And since environmental management is recommending that, why are we not requiring that?
I believe under our county code, the cutoff is 300 feet. And so while you can have that request, if the council wants to add that, that's up to the council, but we were looking at the existing requirements of the county code.
Okay, so is the sewer going down the street on which this parcel will access, or is it some other street, some other place?
It's on Lonnie Street. So
do any of these other parcels that are adjacent to the subject parcel, are they, any of them required to connect to the sewer line on Lonnie Street?
not to my knowledge. They would have to go from their parcel all the way down to Lonnie.
Okay. Frankly, that is my only concern. You know, we were talking this morning on another issue about having the 100 or 200 year plan, and you know, this area is growing. It is becoming more industrialized, and that means more businesses are going to be in there. I think it's important that we get these people on a sewer line. I don't remember if this particular road is on our sewer plan. I don't know if Mr. Onishi would know the answer to that. But that is the one concern I have. I don't think this is on the plan.
Yeah, no, I do not.
Okay. All right, that's my one concern is the lack of a sewer going down that road, and with the recommendation from EM, they don't make those recommendations lightly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Councilman Willie? Is your mic on?
Make a motion that we make an amendment to add that condition from environmental management into the conditions in the rezoning.
So you're making that motion? Is there a second?
Point of order.
Good. Councilman Ford?
Excuse me, Ms. Willie. The rules say if we make a significant change, it needs to be in writing. So what we could do is pass this today up to council. You can make that amendment and bring it forward. And also, I would suggest that we bring environmental management in here to have a little discussion.
I was going to say the same thing on that.
Thank you. So I would respectfully suggest we just wait on the amendment.
Okay.
And then I'll also request environmental management to come in at our next meeting. Very good. Thank you. Any other discussion? Councilman Onishi? No, you're good? Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll take the vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Eoff?
Aye.
Ms. Ford? Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanoha?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Ms. Poindexter?
Aye.
Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 8 ayes, 1 excuse.
Thank you. Bill 3 moves forward to council with a positive recommendation. Now on to unfinished business. Madam Clerk?
Bill 266.
Oh, you know what? Actually, can I rewind that a second? Because we need to go back to the first communication 5. Can I get a motion to bring that back? What would be the proper word?
I move to remove communication 5 from the table.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, let's do a voice vote on that. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? Okay. So, communication 5. So now, it's live on the floor. Any discussion? Councilwoman Ford.
Thank you. The planning director, please, would come to the testifiers table.
Is the planning director still available?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Leithead, Todd, from the color photograph, not photographs, the color diagrams that are on here, I cannot tell where these insignificant parcels are. I was hoping that maybe your memory would serve all of us to just kind of show us on one of these color patterns, color diagrams, where this zone change, this insignificant zone change is actually occurring?
I think if you look at, there's the first map that shows you the zone, shows the agricultural and the industrial zoning. Industrial in red, agricultural in green, and then has an overlay of the larger area.
Yes.
Okay. Basically, what they're trying Basically, what they're trying to do, if you then look at the next page that shows the state land use boundaries.
Yes.
You can see that there's a slight disconnect, like one is, I don't know, it's been so long since I've had math, I'm not sure whether to call that kind of a trapezoid or a triangle with the top cut off. But you can see that it doesn't quite line up. And so what they're trying to do is just align the zoning with the state land use classification so that the state land use urban and the state land use ag line up with county, rather the county zoning lines up with the state land use designations. That's all.
Okay, so these insignificant portions are still within the boundaries of this particular parcel. It's just that those little funny jogs in the lines are the ones being realigned so that they match.
It's the two parcels. One that's currently a parcel that's zoned industrial and another parcel that's zoned agricultural. And we're just moving the lines a little bit so that they line up with the state land use classification. That's all that's going on here.
All right, thank you very much.
Madam Director? Quick question.
Yes.
This is a ministerial project. This should be handled through your department, correct?
Per the code, when it's less than basically an acre of land, it's handled administratively in the office. It's considered non-significant. So you're moving the line a little bit, but you're not changing the area zoning significantly. Under our department rules, we routinely send you a copy of any of these decisions. But in my memory, both when I was on the council as well as in the last 4 years as director, this is the first time that I've ever seen it on a committee agenda.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Seeing none, let's take the vote.
Ms. Eoff? Aye. Ms. Ford? Aye. Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Aye. Ms. Poindexter?
Aye.
Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Kern?
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 9 ayes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now on to unfinished business. Would you please read Bill 266 Draft 5 into the record, Communication 745.29.
Bill 266 Draft 5, Communication 745.29, amends Chapter 25 Zoning Code of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition as amended, relating to agricultural tourism. Planning Director initiated. From Mayor William P. Kanoy, dated May 25, 2012, transmitting the above bill and enclosures with a favorable recommendation from the Windward Planning and Leeward Planning Commissions. The proposed bill will specifically amend sections 25-1-5B, 25-2-71, 25-2-75, 25-2-76, and 25-4-15 relating to definitions, plan approval requirements, and use regulations, respectively, pertaining to agricultural tourism. The proposed bill adds and clarifies definitions and types of use for major and minor agricultural tourism activities and sets forth specific regulations for each. Council referred back to Planning Committee November 21st, 2012.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion to close file on Communication 745.29? I'm the chair. I don't necessarily feel that we should approve the bill right at this moment. I don't know if that's... Thank you. And recommend passage of Bill 266, Draft 5 on first reading. Okay, we have a first by Councilman Ford and a second by Councilman Onishi. Any discussion? Councilman Ford.
Thank you. I'd just like to make a few comments and then I'll do my amendment. The council, as you obviously are aware, has struggled with this for quite a while. And part of the reason that we've had a struggle is that while most of us in the past council definitely want to have ag tourism, a lot of those people who live in an ag district don't particularly care for the negative impacts of ag tourism. With that in mind, Mr. Onishi was very concerned at the time and that the neighbors were going to be negatively impacted and requested that I put together the amendments that would protect the neighbors. So at this moment, I would like to move to amend Bill number 266 Draft 5 with the contents of Communication 745.32.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Ford.
Okay. I'm sorry that the council did not get this along with the original bill, so you had a chance to read it. And I think that is a disservice to us at this moment in time. So I will be asking for postponement so that everybody gets a chance to read these amendments. They were submitted by various members of the community that were concerned about the negative impacts of ag tourism. Let me also comment on a couple of issues. We discussed in the council the major versus minor, having a plan approval for major and not having one for the minor, and that went over like lead with the community because the impacts are so severe to the neighbors. So now that was during the last term. It can change again, but I just want to let you know that that was a very deliberate change from no plan approval to plan approval. Secondly, the number of visitors, we were requested to put them in on a per day basis. The last council chose not to have it per day, have it per week, per one of the other council members. I personally don't like that, but we did do that. Again, this is a new term, we can change it back to a per day, although it's going to be hard to regulate per day visitors. That can be difficult, because once they get into those tour books, you have no clue how many's going to show up. So, with all of these issues, at Mr. Onishi's request, I put them all in here, and you're just going to have to read them. There's almost 30 of them, something around 30, that I think we need to read and then discuss individually, but I think today is not the day. So, I'll wait just in case there's other discussion, and then I'll do the motion. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilwoman Ford. And just a quick point from my side of it too, I also sat on the Windward Planning Commission while this came forth. I feel that this has really morphed into something more than it was on the commission. I would like to participate in it. I've checked with my corporation counsel. They say it's not a conflict, so I can, but I'd like to see if there's anybody that would object to that as far as my fellow council members. Commissioner Onishi?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would suggest that right now, without this amendments, I think we should send it back to the Planning Commission for Leeward and Windward, because, like you mentioned before, this is on draft 5. What was presented to the commission, the original, there's been a lot of changes in this, right? And so I think what we should do is send this back first and then see what kind of comments we get back from the commissioners. And also, because they'll go out to the public to get more information about this bill, the draft 5. So then from there we can do amendments to that. But that's what I would recommend. Thank you.
Are you saying send it back to commission with the with what Councilwoman Ford has brought forth as well?
Not with the amendments that Ms. Ford might do, but with the what is it, Bill 266 draft 5
as it stands right now prior to that. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Point of order.
Yes, Councilwoman Ford.
I've made a motion for this amendment, and Mr. Onishi is doing something totally different. So he's out of order.
Very good. Yeah, so any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, Councilwoman Ford.
Thank you. I would like to comment. I'm a little off here, but after Mr. Onishi made his comment, when we have something that comes forward, either from the planning department or from the council member, and winds up going to the planning commission, they do their thing on it, as is appropriate, and then they send it up to their council. Once it's already been to the planning commission, that council owns the bill, and we can do anything with the bill. It is not required that we send it back to the planning commission and go through that whole process a second time. So I personally don't agree with that, but this bill this amendment's live on the floor, and I would like to have some discussion on it. So I think it's only appropriate, though, that we postpone this. So I move to postpone Bill 266 Draft 5 with its amendment, Communication 745.32, to the next meeting to give the council members time to read this.
Point of order.
Councilman Onishi, point of order.
Didn't you just make a motion to amend? With
Yeah, we do have a live motion to amend that we've been in discussion, and now you made another motion on top of that.
Yeah, I don't think you can do.
Don't we need to finish? Okay. Okay. So are we still in discussion on both then?
Only on the postponement.
Okay. But you need a second. Okay.
Second.
Okay. So first, it has been made by Councilwoman Ford to postpone, a second by Councilwoman Poindexter. Any discussion on postponing? Councilwoman Eoff.
Yes, I would like the chance to review this amendment and the bill because I don't really feel I understand it well enough to make any decisions.
Okay. Councilman Kanuha?
Yeah, I agree the same thing. Even with the testimony that was brought forth earlier today, they had a recommendation for all of us to postpone it and to look at it further on, and I completely agree with it. I think for me personally, I definitely need to look at it more further and talk about it more. So I'm in favor of the postponement.
And point of clarification, postpone to when?
Postpone the next committee meeting.
Is that okay with second?
I think that comes up in January. January 8th, postpone to January 8th.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Willie?
Yes, can I ask for a clarification that I'm not sure I understand on the amendment and bill? And that is, there's different categories here, starting with farm market and what farm market roadside stand, and then you go to minor.
I don't think that this is the appropriate time for that discussion.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Okay, yeah, I just figured that out. Thank you.
So wait until we bring it up again. Okay,
correct.
Thank you.
Councilman Onishi?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Could I be able to ask Director Leithead Todd a question?
Is it in relation to postponement?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of, or yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can we have the planning director please come forward?
You can ask right after review.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councilman Onishi?
Yeah, Ms. Leithead Todd, you heard discussion about with all these amendments to Bill 266. Wouldn't it be your recommendations that we should send it back to the Planning Commission?
Point of order. We're on postponement, not on whether we're sending this back to the commission.
Well, my question is, because if she says no, then I'll support the postponement. But then if she says
Point of order.
It might be,
Point of order, Mr. Onishi. Point of order, Mr. Onishi.
Okay.
We're out of order.
Let's handle we'll do the postponement first, and then we'll discuss the other part of that afterwards.
I think once we postpone it, we can't discuss it already. So, but like I said, my determination of voting for the postponement or not is depending on what the directive answers my question.
Mr. Onishi, are you asking whether I think postponement is the appropriate action?
Right.
I think it is, because as long as the amendments are within the title of the bill, then it is the purview of the county council to make amendments. And because all of these amendments, with one or two exceptions, which we will discuss at the next meeting, do come under the rubric of agricultural tourism, then the county council can make those amendments. I will be doing a written memo on those few areas that I think go beyond the scope.
Okay. Okay, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Director. Any other discussion on postponement? Just a point of my clarification, if we vote to postpone this, the original motion is still live for the amendments? No? The amendments? Everything, okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, let's take the vote.
On the motion to postpone to January 8th Planning Committee meeting, Ms. Eoff. Aye. Ms. Ford. Aye. Mr. Ilagan.
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi. Aye. Ms. Poindexter.
Aye.
Ms. Willie.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Kern.
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 9 ayes.
Thank you. So that communication, Bill 266 will be postponed to the following meeting. Thank you. May I have a motion to close file on communication 873? Actually, I need to have you read it first. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, would you please read in communication 873?
Sure. Resolution 313-12, communication 873, delays council action on upzoning the Pahoa Village Regional Town Center planning area until Phase 1 of the Pahoa Regional Town Center plan is adopted by ordinance, or until June 30th, 2013, whichever shall occur first. The Pahoa Regional Town Center Plan Steering Committee and the Puna Community Development Plan Action Committee requested that any new upzoning in this area be delayed to allow the community, through a legitimate, deliberate, and inclusive community-based planning process, to define how best to solve existing problems, to allocate space for new growth, and to preserve its historical heritage. Council referred back to Planning Committee on November 21st, 2012.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion to close file on communication 873 and recommend adoption of resolution 313-12?
So moved.
Second.
Very good. We have a first by Councilwoman Eoff and a second by Councilman Ilagan. Is there any discussion? Councilman Ilagan?
I do want to say that...
Is your mic on?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I do want to say that I do like the fact it's until June 30th, so we do want to make sure that any commercial, that we're doing this right and for Puna. So I do want to support this and make sure that it goes through.
Any other discussion? I do. And I'm okay as chair, I can discuss this, right? My discussion. Is there any objection to me commenting on this? Seeing none, thank you very much. These are always tricky for me as far as delay of upzoning. Other people like to put them as a moratorium. While the intention of this is to encourage commercial growth and smart development in the village town center, at the same time we're saying no, don't do it right now. Which I do like that we did not label this as a moratorium. I think that gives out the wrong perception. I think having a sunset date on this of June 30th is good. I think it will bring it together. I've talked with the planning department, and there's nothing it's not going to affect any applications coming in. So we're not causing a slowdown or a delay in economic growth and then basic services that we need in the Puna area. So I will do that, but I will say that I don't want to see this coming back in for a continuation. I don't want to see this, we need another 6 months, we need another 6 months. I'll support it the one time, allows the committee, the steering committee, to actually take the action, bring it together, have the design guidelines, have the plans, and then we can move forward. So right now I will support this, but only this one time. Any other discussion?
I agree with you, Zendo.
Right on. Seeing no other discussion, let's take the vote.
Ms. Eoff? Aye. Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Ms. Poindexter?
Aye.
Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Kern?
Aye.
Chair Kern, you have 9 ayes.
Very good, thank you. Before we do a motion to adjourn, I'm just going to say that if I cut anybody off and offended them, I sincerely apologize. It's not my style to offend anybody, but I do treat everybody the same, and I can work on doing that in a little bit more polite manner. But I don't care if it was my grandma up there, 3 minutes, she's done. So on that note, sorry if I offended anybody. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I was heard.
So
That's all I
first from
care. I was
Councilman Ford
heard.
and second from
I was heard.
Councilman Poindexter. Very good. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, meeting is POW. And we have 15 minutes to spare. I get it.
So I brought these in, Bobbie. Really appreciate it.